Hey everybody, it's Big E. Welcome to Big E Auto. Yes, it's been a long winter. The weather's starting to warm up a little bit. It's going to get cold again, but time to get back out there and get some projects done. I know people thought I was dead. No, I'm still alive, much to everybody being pissed off about, but fuck them. Anyway, we're back working on the turd again. Okay, so the last time I left you guys, we put the fuel rail on, and we were going to measure hoses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you up to speed, like super quick, because I have to work a little fast here. I'm running out of daylight again. I'm in the trailer. So what I did, obviously I got the hoses. So what we did, I don't know if you guys can see back there, we put we have two 90-degree ANs on there. We ran 90s off the back of fuel rail. Then we ran, I'm going to bring this down so you can see what we did here. Well, we mounted this here. I had to make a bracket, so we mounted the fuel rail here, the fuel regulator, not the fuel rail, the fuel regulator here. And we have a 45 and number 6, because we're using number 6 hose here. Number 6, both for the supply and the return, we use number 6 braided line. So we ran a 45 here and a 90 off of the rail. Now this is going to be on your return side, okay? So basically what we did was we made, and it's hard to tell because of, you're supposed to see it from the side from where you're sitting, but I'm going to do it as you're looking at it. I'm going to call this the passenger side fuel rail. You can plumb it any way you want. We made the passenger side your supply, meaning what we did was we took this hose here. This is your supply, the 3/8. Okay, that's the bigger one. You have a supply and you have a return. Okay, so obviously your supply is going to be the bigger fuel line. On this application, they use 3/8 plastic line for the supply. You could run it into the driver's side or the passenger side. It really doesn't matter. I was working with Tom. Tom always made it that the passenger side fuel rail was supplied. So I followed the way he's been doing it for how many years and how many stock and super stockers he's built in that configuration. So that's what I followed here. So we have the passenger side. Let me get the camera here. Sorry, guys. So we have the passenger side fuel rail as the supply, and then it comes across here. This cross tube, which is factory, goes onto the driver's side fuel rail. So what we did was we made the driver's side fuel rail, we made that as the return. Okay, obviously supply loops around, has the return. Now with that being said, so that's where this line comes in here from this fuel rail. Okay, and it goes around, you can see it curls around, and we have the 45 here, which goes to the regulator, and then we have a 90 down here, and that's going to go to your return line that we have cut here. So I'm trying to think what all I need to get you guys caught up with what happened here. Let me adjust the camera. I know I'm probably making you seasick. I'm going to try and leave it there. So we have, it's still not right. Let me drop the camera down even more. Okay, so here obviously you're going to plumb your regulator on the return side on your fuel injected engines. Carbureted engines, you put your regulator on the supply side. So now that we have it figured out where the hoses are going to lay, what we're going to do now is hook them up. But to do that with the push lock, you see we have push lock here. You have to buy this. So this is a connector. Okay, I'll have part numbers at the end of the video. So this is what you need for the adapter. So this will screw into your AN fitting. Okay, and then that will lock into this fitting, but we have to get this on the factory fuel line over here. That's off camera. You're not going to see that very. Let me see if I can turn it just a smidge. Right here. is your factory. And remember, it's the bigger one. This is 3/8. So so to do that, we have to heat this up and push it in until it bottoms out against here. So what I'm gonna do here, guys, I'm gonna pause the camera because I have to start the generator so that way I have electric to run my heat gun. Now, for all intents and purposes, I was told to use a hair dryer. I can't find one. The heat gun will be a little too hot. So what I'm going to do is, like I said I'm using a heat gun. I'm going to be extremely careful, keep it far away, and I'm going to be mindful of what the plastic tubing is doing, because the last thing I want to do is melt it, because then I'm going to have a leak, and then I'm going to have to do it all over again. So I'm going to go ahead and work on this, and we're going to try and see if we can get at least the supply one done. So like I said, I'm going to heat it up. I'm going to put a little bit of Vaseline on the tip. We're on the tip of this right here. Okay, all the way around, so it helps to push it in easier, and then when fuel runs through it, it obviously will dissolve and we won't have a clog there. So let me get working on that. Hopefully when I come back, we have this thing on. All right, guys, Big E. So hey, we gave it the old college try. We got the on. We have the supply, the return. We have the supply. The next thing would be the one did get twisted a little bit. I'm not 100% sure if that'll be fine. I may need to recut it and redo it. Luckily, I have long enough hose. I have the opportunity to do that. I want to double check that they're on all the way. The next thing we would do at this point is hook them up, and then we would disconnect the fitting from the back, your supply fitting. Take it off the back of your fuel rail, prime the fuel pump, and run the fuel line into a gas can, because you'll be pumping fuel now. Reason for doing that, I mean, even though we flush these out with brake fluid, there might be a little bit in there. So just to be doubly sure, cycle that key, run that fuel pump, and let it pump the fuel into that gas can for like a second. Okay, once you do that, hook it back up to the fuel rail. Then what you want to do is disconnect here at your regulator, your return line, disconnected here. Run this into a gas can and cycle the key, prime the pump so it runs fuel. Now any dirt will go into there. Hook it back up to your fuel regulator, and you should be good at that point to pressure up, put everything together, get everything at final tightening, and then try starting the car, or then, you know, turn the key on so it primes the fuel pump, so it pressurizes your fuel system. Go around, check all your connections, see if there's any leaks. If no leaks, at that point you can fire up the car and check everything out one last final time. So I hope this helps. I hope you learn a little something. This has been a hell of a project. I bet you we haven't run the car for almost 3 months, just with having to reconfigure the fuel system, parts, and just overall having to fabricate to make it work. But I have a feeling if it doesn't leak, which I'm keeping my fingers crossed it doesn't, that would be great, if that's the case, with no leaks. But we're gonna have to wait and see. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna snap these connectors in, and we're gonna go from there. So hopefully this helps. So hopefully in the next video we'll actually have this thing where we fire it up and we check it all out. So right now, that's it for now for Big E's Auto. Watch out for each other, take care of each other. We see you next time right here on Big E's. Bye bye for now.